The rejuvenation industry absolutely loves your fear. You buy premium collagen, swallow handfuls of supplements, and pay for elite health checkups, diligently waxing the hood of a car whose engine has already rotted away. You're trying to buy your way out of biological wear and tear. Meanwhile, centenarians in Sardinia or Okinawa sleep in freezing rooms, dig in the dirt with their bare hands, chew bitter weeds, and systematically refuse to sit on chairs. And they are going to outlive you. You are rotting away in sterile comfort, while their bodies daily repair their own DNA through aggressive microstress. Today, we are going to expose 33 free, brutal ways to delay your disposal by 20 years. No biohacking garbage here, just the naked mechanics of the body, from cellular starvation to proper hypoxia. Spit out your expensive vitamins. We are going to learn how not to rust. Fact 1. The illusion of an empty plate. Picture a standard evening banquet where we, like crazed vacuum cleaners, suck in eclairs and salads until we resemble a tightly stretched drum. We feel that if a single piece is left on the plate, the day was lived in vain. Now watch the sleight of hand of marketers who sell you digestive enzymes. Centenarians never eat until they are completely full. They use the 80% rule, leaving the table with a slight feeling of hunger. Why? Science calls this autophagy, the process of cellular self-cleaning. When you are slightly hungry, your body, like a thrifty caretaker, starts consuming its own cellular trash, renewing tissues. Instead, we toss another dose of chemicals into ourselves, trying to speed up our metabolism. We try to find health in a pharmacy, even though the most powerful rejuvenation tool is absolutely free and simply consists of shutting your mouth on time. It is like hiring an expensive cleaning company to tidy up your apartment while you continue to scatter garbage in the corners. Your internal caretaker is shocked by your logic, begging you to leave your stomach alone. Fact 2. The floor detector of old age. We adore comfort to the point that we are willing to take out loans for orthopedic chairs that hug our backs like caring mothers. We sit in cars, we sit in offices, we sit at home on couches, turning into motionless jelly. Sounds like a perfect life? Not at all. Elderly Japanese people completely ignore chairs, preferring life on the floor. Getting up from a flat surface every day without the help of your hands is the best joint workout in the world, and the perfect predictor that you will easily live to be 80 years old. Every such movement forces the entire muscle chain to work, lubricating the joints naturally. Meanwhile, modern man, resembling those chubby passengers from the Wall-E cartoon, barely peels himself off a soft cushion, complaining about creaking knees. We have created a world where the absence of muscular effort is considered a privilege, but in reality, it is just a crash course in turning into a fossil. Your expensive chair is not a status symbol, it is your personal gravitational trap. Enjoy your throne while you can still climb onto it. Fact 3. Investments in drinking buddies. For years, we have been told that mental health requires a personal therapist, a retreat in Bali, and a meditation app featuring the voice of a tired monk. We build concrete walls of independence around ourselves, taking pride in our self-sufficiency. Here is a surprise for solitude lovers. Centenarians build groups of 5 lifelong friends. This is a scientifically proven phenomenon, having a reliable social circle where you can simply grumble about the government or discuss your neighbor's lowest cortisol levels and the risk of a heart attack more effectively than exhausting sports. When you share stress with someone, your body literally switches off its alarm mode. But modern people prefer to pay thousands just to have a stranger with a diploma listen to their whining for exactly 45 minutes. We have replaced free human support with the paid services of the soul-saving industry. If aliens saw how we isolate ourselves in concrete boxes and then complain about melancholy, they would tap their temples with their green tentacles. Try adding a real friend to your life cart. It is much more profitable. Fact 4. The penny holy grail. The superfood industry loves selling you goji berries, chia seeds, and Himalayan salt at the price of enriched uranium. We believe that the more exotic and expensive the product, the faster it will turn us into immortal elves. Science says the opposite. The single common dietary secret of absolutely all the so-called blue zones on the planet is 1 cup of any beans a day. Ordinary cheap peasant beans. This is pure fiber that acts like a powerful brush for your intestines, feeding beneficial bacteria and extending your life. But can you really make a beautiful blog post about eating lentils? No, we need aesthetics, so we drain our budgets on green smoothies that taste like a lawnmower. This is business cynicism of the highest order, making you ignore cheap and effective fuel for the sake of an expensive illusion of elitism. We behave like owners of a budget subcompact car who pour aviation fuel into it hoping it will fly. The Tale of Jack and the Beanstalk turned out to be a medical documentary, and you completely missed it. Fact 5. Purpose as antifreeze for the brain. Most people wake up in the morning only because an alarm clock hits them over the head, reminding them of the need to pay off their mortgage. We live on autopilot, acting like hamsters in a wheel, and we call it stability. Ready for a slap in the face? Having a clear goal that physically makes you want to open your eyes adds up to 7 years of life. In Japan, they call this word ikigai. This spark of meaning literally protects the brain from dementia, preventing neural connections from drying up out of sheer boredom. When the body has no reason to live, it initiates a self-destruct protocol. Meanwhile, we try to solve the problem of burnout by buying a new phone that will broadcast someone else's successful life even brighter. If I wanted to sell you the meaning of life, I would call it quantum neurotuning and slap a price tag with 4 zeros on it. Without a goal, your brain turns into a computer forgotten in the attic, gathering dust. Even the zombies in movies have a specific goal to find brains. So what is your goal today? Fact 6. Saving bumps. We have rolled the entire world into perfectly flat asphalt. We walk on flat floors, run on flat treadmills, and stroll down the flat alleys of shopping malls. Our vestibular system is in a state of permanent resort vacation. Ironically, it is exactly this passion for smooth surfaces that is destroying us. Walking over uneven, rough terrain, through forests or mountains, where you have to step over roots and rocks, forces the nervous system to calculate balance every single second. This permanently eliminates fatal falls in old age, when a banal loss of balance on level ground leads to fatal fractures. We buy fitness memberships to march in place in front of a television, while the free dirt and snags in the nearest park train the brain 1,000 times better. Our urbanism has created ideal conditions for the degradation of coordination. Evolution is weeping bitter tears watching you trip over your own shadow on perfect parquet floors. Go out into the woods. Gravity is eager to play with you. Fact 7. A cryo chamber in the bedroom. As soon as night falls, we turn our apartments into branches of the tropical jungle. Radiators blast at full power. We wrap ourselves in down blankets and we breathe over-dried air that feels like the exhaust of a hairdryer. And this is where the magic of physiology begins. Sleeping at exactly 18 degrees Celsius critically increases the production of melatonin and human growth hormone. Your body must cool down slightly to launch cellular repair processes and slow down aging during sleep, but we stubbornly create microwave conditions, blocking regeneration, and in the morning we cover our swollen faces with concealers for crazy amounts of money. We voluntarily marinate ourselves in heat like pickles in a jar, depriving our endocrine system of a chance to function normally. Medieval alchemists drank mercury for the sake of eternal youth, while we sleep in a sauna, killing our hormones, and consider ourselves an intelligent species. The coolness is your free plastic surgeon who only visits at night. If you love the heat so much, keep in mind that bacteria absolutely adore you for it. Fact 8. The chronology of gluttony. We live in the rhythm of food perverts. All day long we keep ourselves going on a cup of instant coffee and nervous tension, pretending to be super productive robots. And when the sun goes down, the refrigerator swings open with the grace of a bank vault, and everything that is not nailed down goes right in. Did you really believe that calories do not tell time? Centenarians consume 70% of their daily food intake before 3 in the afternoon. Their digestion operates in sync with the sun. Dinner should be the smallest meal, just so the stomach does not get bored. When we load up on heavy meat and carbohydrates at night, our pancreas goes into shock, trying to digest this brick while the rest of the body is trying to fall asleep. We treat our bodies like a garbage chute where waste can be dumped at any time of the day or night. If you fueled your car like that, it would stall at the first intersection. Your liver is packing its bags and dreaming of deportation every time you reach for a midnight sandwich. Fact 9. The retirement trap. The dream of modern man is to work until a certain age, drop everything, sit in a rocking chair, and watch television shows while the brain slowly turns into oatmeal. We perceive retirement as a well-deserved finale where we can finally do absolutely nothing. In reality, everything is much funnier and more tragic. In the languages of many long-living cultures, the word retirement does not even exist. They continue to engage in manageable labor until their very last day. Why? Because the absence of complex cognitive or physical strain gives the body a clear signal that we have exhausted our resources and it is time to wrap things up. The brain, deprived of new tasks, begins to atrophy at a terrifying speed. We want to take a break from life so badly that life literally starts taking a break from us. It is like turning off an airplane engine mid-flight, hoping it will smoothly glide on the clouds. The ban on idleness is a harsh but fair law of nature. Congratulations! Your dream of eternal lounging on the couch is just a beautifully packaged self-destruct program. Fact 10. A dough strengthener. Technological progress has freed us from routine. Robot vacuums clean the floor, washing machines do the laundry, and food processors knead the dough. We have eliminated physical effort from our domestic lives, naively rejoicing at the freed-up time. Do you feel the catch? Ordinary manual labor requiring physical effort, whether it is washing clothes by hand, digging in the garden, or vigorously kneading bread, is incredibly important. This fine motor activity preserves grip strength, which is the main biological marker of your body's youth. A strong grip correlates with a healthy heart and strong blood vessels. Meanwhile, we have delegated all household efforts to machines, turning our hands into soft, weak appendages capable only of scrolling a smartphone screen. We have become physically helpless in our own homes. This is a paradox of logic. We buy gym memberships to pull iron weights, but refuse to wring out a rag with our own hands. The Terminator would cry machine oil seeing you ask a voice assistant to turn on the light because you're too lazy to raise your arm. Fact 11. Justified laziness. Middle of the day. Your eyes are sticking together, your brain refuses to focus, and your hand reaches for a third mug of coffee or a can of energy drink containing more chemicals than the periodic table. We violate our nervous system because society demands continuous efficiency from 9 to 6. Science is having a hysterical fit at this moment. An ordinary saving siesta, just a 20-minute daytime nap, reduces the risk of cardiovascular catastrophes by a shocking 34%. It is a natural factory reset, a reboot of the vagus nerve, and a zeroing out of stress hormones. Yet we consider daytime sleep a sign of weakness. We would rather pour a toxic stimulant into ourselves, forcing our hearts to pound to the point of exhaustion, just so the boss sees our imaginary vigor. We sell our health to corporations for the illusion of productivity. You behave like a smartphone user who, instead of plugging the device into a charger, simply punches it, demanding the screen glow brighter. Tired? Feel like closing this text, going to hug the television, and drinking a sweet soda to forget all this horror? Hold on. Do not run for a sedative. We have only just begun to lance this abscess of illusions. Your inner child is protesting, but the adult inside you must read to the end. Fact 12. Toxic politeness. We live in a society of suppressed emotions. We are taught to swallow our grievances, fake a smile for a rude customer, and nod to the boss when everything inside is boiling with rage. We hoard this stress, storing it in our blood vessels and muscles. Meanwhile, on Sardinia, Centenarians do not play these games. Explode and let it go. They can curse loudly, wave their hands and shout, but a minute later they make up and forget the conflict. Suppressed anger is incredibly toxic. It causes systemic inflammation in the body, eating you away from the inside like acid. We, on the other hand, wear masks of perfect people while our cortisol hits the ceiling. It is like storing radioactive waste at home in a pretty gift box, hoping the bow will protect you from radiation. Be like Shrek. Sometimes you just need to roar loudly across the whole forest to save your swamp and your nerves. Fact 13. The Icy Inquisition. The morning begins with a warm enveloping shower where we stand under streams of boiling water, pondering the futility of existence. We love warming our bones, avoiding any discomfort whatsoever. Yes, indeed, this is exactly how you lose your evolutionary potential. Just 30 seconds of a freezing shower in the morning acts like a massive defibrillator for your metabolism. This shock activates brown fat, a unique tissue that rapidly begins to burn bad cholesterol and warm the body from the inside out. But we panic at the thought of cold water, buying insanely expensive fat burners invented by marketers in laboratories instead. We fight cholesterol with pills, ignoring the free natural mechanism built right into our physiology. It is like having a climate control system in your house, but choosing to heat the room by burning $100 bills in the middle of the living room. Your inner penguin looks at your warm little baths with the deepest contempt. Turn the blue faucet, you cowards. Your brown fat has been waiting for work. Fact 14. Optical synchronization. What do you do in the very first second after waking up? Exactly, you grab your smartphone and shoot a concentrated beam of artificial light into your eyes, reading news that does not even concern you. Your brain has not yet figured out what planet it is on, and you are already loading it with digital garbage. It is a blatant lie to yourself that this is how you wake up. A real dose of morning sun is what actually saves your psyche. Getting direct, harsh sunlight into your eyes within the first 30 minutes of waking sets your circadian rhythms, commanding your hormonal system to start a proper countdown to the evening. Without this, your pineal gland works blind, disrupting your sleep and wake cycles. We hide behind tinted windows and thick curtains, complaining about insomnia and depression. We have replaced the nuclear reactor of the solar system with a pathetic screen the size of a palm. Count Dracula would be proud of your desire to avoid daylight, but even he had a healthier daily routine than a modern office worker. Fact 15. Mud therapy. We have become hygiene paranoids. We wash our hands with antibacterial soap, douse everything around us in sanitizers, and are terrified to touch the earth as if it were covered in acid. We have raised a generation of people whose immune systems get bored and start attacking their own bodies with allergies. In reality, dirty hands are salvation. Digging in the garden and making contact with the soil enriches our microbiome with unique soil bacteria that act as natural, completely free antidepressants. They stimulate serotonin production in the brain much more powerfully than expensive pharmacy pills. But we try to sterilize the planet, killing everything alive around us, and then go to a psychiatrist complaining of inexplicable melancholy. We behave like astronauts in spacesuits who wonder why it is so hard to breathe. By pouring tons of bleach into your toilet, you are not protecting your family. You are killing your allies. Go make a mud pie. Your serotonin is waiting for you in the garden bed, not in the doctor's office. Fact 16. The bitterness of truth. Food culture has turned us into sweet tooth addicts. We start our meals with pastries, sweet sauces, and wash it all down with sugary sodas. Our tongues have forgotten all flavors except sugar and enhancers, and therein lies a colossal physiological failure. The power of bitterness is the forgotten secret of centenarians. Eating bitter greens like arugula, dandelion, or chicory before a main meal stimulates the release of bile and perfectly cleanses the liver. Bitterness commands the digestive tract to prepare for heavy lifting, but we wrinkle our noses at anything bitter, preferring to glue our guts together with refined carbohydrates, and then wonder why our digestion is stalled like a traffic jam during rush hour. We pay huge amounts of money for liver medications, refusing to pluck a free weed in the yard that does the exact same job. If I wanted to destroy humanity, I would simply add sugar to everything you eat. Wait, that is exactly what corporations have already done. Your liver is begging for mercy. Give it at least a dandelion leaf. Fact 17. The twilight of the halogen era. An evening in a modern apartment looks like a police interrogation. We turn on powerful overhead lights, chandeliers shine with thousands of lumens, flooding the room with a blue spectrum that tricks our brains into thinking it is bright, high noon outside. Surprise, artificial blue light ruthlessly destroys melatonin, the hormone responsible for deep recovery. Centenarians use the rule of living by candlelight. They abandon bright overhead lights after sunset and switch to the warm, dim light of floor lamps. But we stubbornly continue to simulate the day, smashing our biological clocks with a sledgehammer of technology. We buy sleeping pills to pass out into artificial sleep, having previously scorched our retinas with light-emitting diodes. It is like trying to fall asleep right on the dance floor of a nightclub and complaining about the poor acoustics. Your endocrine system simply cannot understand why the sun is shining from the ceiling at 1 in the morning. Even street cats know when it is time to hide in the dark, yet the crown of creation keeps clicking light switches. Fact 18. Mountain anemia. We strive to live in megacities. At sea level, among flat streets and exhaust fumes, we breathe heavy, dense air full of carcinogens, considering it the price of civilization. Now here is a physiological paradox for you. Moderate hypoxia is what makes the heart super efficient. Living at a slight elevation in the hills or mountains forces the body to constantly produce more red blood cells to compensate for the slight lack of oxygen. This gentle cardiovascular training creates a safety margin that lasts for decades. Instead, we live in the lowlands, pump ourselves full of iron supplements that just rust inside us, and wonder why we are so lethargic. You traded mountain air for an apartment with a view of a concrete wall and voluntarily breathed the periodic table. If marketers could, they would sell you pure oxygen in cylinders. Oh wait, they are already doing that. Living on the plains is just a comfortable parking lot for your deteriorating engine. It is time to look for a path leading upwards. Fact 19. A vocal pacemaker. When we feel bad, we put on noise-canceling headphones, blocking out the world, and listen to sad music, plunging into a sea of self-pity. We buy holotropic breathwork courses from questionable internet gurus. Do you seriously believe this works better than evolution? Choral singing is a powerful breathing exercise that you completely ignore. Singing together with friends or in a church physically synchronizes the heartbeat of the entire group, acting as a perfect pacemaker. You synchronize your inhales and exhales, ventilating your lungs to 100% capacity. But we are too shy to open our mouths, afraid of looking ridiculous. We traded this powerful collective stress relief for solo listening to audiobooks on the subway. You sit in silence while your lungs work at a third of their capacity. Belting out songs in the shower is fun, sure, but a choir is free therapy that you traded for trendy isolation. Your vocal cords have atrophied from lack of use. Sing at least something before you forget how to speak. Fact 20. Healing selfishness. From childhood, we are taught to be convenient, to adapt to colleagues, not to argue with relatives, to agree to uncomfortable compromises, just to keep a false peace. We bend under the opinions of others until our psychological spine breaks. Science is in shock. Psychologists have discovered that most centenarians possess incredibly healthy stubbornness. They are positively selfish. They do not bend to other people's expectations and know how to say a firm no. This shell of stubbornness protects their nervous system from burnout and stress. Meanwhile, we try to be good for everyone, burning our own nerve cells for the approval of people who could not care less about us. You waste energy catering to the complexes of strangers instead of just sending it all to hell. This is a paradox of logic. You want everyone to like you, but eventually you do not even like your own reflection in the mirror. Being a slightly stubborn donkey is clinically more beneficial than being soft putty in someone else's hands. Practice your no. It is the best shield against a heart attack. Fact 21. Alchemy from a pepper shaker. Pharmaceutical corporations make billions on anti-inflammatory drugs. We buy up joint pain pills, ointments, and tricky supplements with unpronounceable names enriching their pockets. Now take a look at your kitchen shelf. The magic of spices works better than a chemical laboratory. A simple combination of turmeric and black pepper increases the absorption of curcumin by 2,000%. It is the most powerful natural inflammation extinguisher in the world. It costs mere pennies and is sold at any corner store. But for us, it is too simple. We refuse to believe that cheap yellow powder can compete with beautiful pharmacy packaging that features a joint with a red lightning bolt. We are victims of packaging, ready to ignore thousands of years of experience for the sake of a shiny blister pack of capsules. If Apple manufactured turmeric, you would be lining up for it with tents. Your pepper shaker is a secret safe full of health, and you only use it to sneeze over your soup. Fact 22. The chewing marathon. Fast food culture has taught us not to eat, but to devour food for speed. We throw giant chunks of burgers into ourselves, washing them down with soda to push that lump further down the esophagus. We swallow food like hungry pelicans. Ironically, this exact process destroys our blood vessels. The rule of chewing your food 40 times is not an old wives' tale. Prolonged chewing lowers the glycemic index of any carbohydrate product by 15 to 20%. You physically smash sugar spikes, moistening the food with saliva full of enzymes. But we prefer to save 5 minutes at lunch, only to spend years treating insulin resistance later. You are shifting the work of your teeth onto your stomach, which, surprise, does not have any teeth. It is like trying to shove an uncut watermelon into a meat grinder and complaining that the motor burned out. You have a built-in natural blender in your mouth, but you prefer to use it only to talk nonsense. Have some mercy on your intestines, you are still going to need them. Are you still here? Your endurance deserves a round of applause. Most have already left a scroll through a feed of short videos to finally kill off their dopamine and watch cats fall off tables. But you stayed to get another dose of truth. Let us keep breaking your patterns. Fact 23. The nasal monopoly. Look at the people on the subway. Half of them sit with their mouths slightly open like fish washed ashore. Breathing through the mouth is a catastrophic system failure. You're letting in unfiltered, cold air, drying out your mucous membranes. Breathing strictly through your nose is top-tier biohacking. When air passes through your nasal sinuses, nitric oxide is produced. This gas dilates blood vessels, instantly and freely lowering your blood pressure. But we breathe through our mouths, earn ourselves hypertension, and then go to the pharmacy for vasodilator pills. We completely ignore our own physiological filter that works around the clock. Close your mouth right now. You are not a vacuum cleaner meant to suck in air directly. Fact 24. Protein repair. We are absolutely terrified of sweating. We smear ourselves with clinical antiperspirants that block our pores with aluminum, and we sit under air conditioners so that not a single drop of moisture ruins our designer shirts. We have created a cult of dry skin. In reality, things are much funnier. Regular heat shock in a bathhouse or sauna forces the body to produce heat shock proteins. These are tiny repair crews that fix damaged DNA cells and dispose of defective proteins, preventing mutations. By avoiding extreme heat, we fire these workers. We prefer to smell like alpine freshness from an aerosol can while our cells accumulate errors. This is business cynicism, selling you a chemical deodorant so that you voluntarily disable your body's self-repair system. You act like a museum owner who forbade restorers from entering the hall because they smell like paint. You are a frozen dumpling in the supermarket of life. Go and properly boil yourself in a sauna. Fact 25. Draining the rust. Men love drinking multivitamins, proudly tossing iron capsules into themselves, thinking they are turning into iron lumberjacks. Now here is the harsh truth of physiology. Accumulated iron does not make you stronger. It accelerates oxidation. You literally rust from the inside, which leads to systemic aging of your organs. Regular blood donation is a unique trick of centenarians. Being a donor rids the body of excess amounts of this dangerous metal, renewing plasma and forcing the bone marrow to produce fresh cells. But we are terrified of needles. We would rather carry around this heavy, toxic blood, turning our blood vessels into old Soviet-era plumbing pipes. You hoard iron like a pack rat in a junkyard and refuse a free procedure that saves someone else's life while rejuvenating yours. Dracula with his bites was practically offering you a free detox program, and you fought him off with garlic. Drain a little of your rust, and you will breathe much easier. Fact 26. Energy vampirism. We have created a perfect system of age segregation. Pensioners sit on benches and discuss their ailments with other pensioners, slowly sinking into collective depression. We isolate generations from one another. Sounds like nonsense? Not at all. Constant connection with the youth, regular communication with grandchildren and great-grandchildren is not just a social duty. It prevents the shrinking of the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for memory and learning. When you try to understand teenage slang or build a construction set with them, your brain forms new neural connections just to survive in an unfamiliar environment. Discussing the price of buckwheat with your peers only cements your degradation. We buy our way out of spending time with kids by giving them gifts, preferring peace and quiet, and thereby sign a death warrant for our intellect. Your comfort zone is a ward for the insane. Go and argue with a teenager about music. It will replace an expensive course of nootropics. Fact 27. A furry tranquilizer. We live in a state of chronic stress, buying calming teas, drops, and pills that turn us into sluggish amoebas. We invest billions into someone else's pockets, trying to artificially drown out our anxiety. The pet effect destroys this industry at its core. Petting a dog or a cat for just 10 minutes physically slows down your heartbeat, synchronizes your breathing, and radically lowers cortisol, saving your engine's resources for years to come. The vibration of a cat's purr actually works as ultrasound therapy for your bones, but many consider pets to be dirty creatures requiring too much care, preferring to swallow sterile chemicals instead. You reject the best natural cardiologist simply because you have to clean a litter box. Your cat looks at your antidepressants with the profound contempt of a true professional. Just pet a stray dog on the street already, your heart valve will thank you. Fact 28. The turbo pedestrian. Watch the crowd in a shopping mall. Most people move like zombies on tranquilizers, slowly, shuffling their feet, staring at their phones. We save energy precisely where we need to spend it. Your walking speed is one of the most accurate medical predictors of how long you will live. A brisk pace requires perfect coordination of the brain, heart, and muscles. Centenarians always walk energetically, as if they are running late for something. A slow gait is a signal to the body that the system is fading and preparing to shut down. But we are in no hurry. We ride escalators and stand on moving walkways, letting mechanisms carry our lazy bodies. It is like buying a sports car and driving it exclusively in first gear around your garage. You're letting your biomechanics atrophy for the dubious pleasure of not breaking a sweat. Start walking as if you just stole a wallet. It will truly save your blood vessels. Fact 29. Pixel paralysis. After work, we collapse onto the couch, press a button on the remote, and plunge into a hypnotic trance. Every 2 hours of sitting in front of the television shortens your life by 1.4 years due to total passive stagnation of blood circulation. We literally grow numb. This is not resting. This is a rehearsal for paralysis. Blood pools in your legs, and your metabolism drops to the level of a hibernating bear. We empathize with fictional characters on the screen while our own cells suffocate from a lack of oxygen. We pay for streaming service subscriptions so they can beautifully show us someone else's life, while our own life slowly drains away into the couch upholstery. Thanos from the comics snapped his fingers for the sake of balance in the universe, and you snap your remote for the sake of your own degradation. Your television is a black square sucking years of life right out of you. Try at least doing squats during the commercials if you cannot tear yourself away from that pixelated trough. Fact 30. Hydration before stimulation. For many, the morning begins with an aggressive attack on the adrenal glands. We wake up dehydrated, our blood thick as syrup, but instead of water, we pour a double espresso into ourselves. Caffeine lands on a dry stomach, causing spasms and forcing the body to panic and dump cortisol. Yes, this is exactly how you break your endocrine system before breakfast. Centenarians drink coffee only after having 2 glasses of pure water. First water in the morning, then coffee. Caffeine works safely and does not deplete your reserves, only in a well-hydrated body. Yet we treat ourselves worse than household appliances. You would not turn on a washing machine without water, hoping it would just spin dirty laundry dry, right? But you pull this trick on your stomach every single morning. pouring acid onto bare walls. Your pancreas screams in terror every time you order your morning cappuccino. Splash some water inside, give your machinery some lubrication, you monsters. Fact 31. Controlled torture. Perfect climate control, heated seats, seamless underwear, food delivery straight to the door. We have built a cocoon of absolute paralyzing comfort around ourselves. We have forgotten what goosebumps from the cold or a rumbling empty stomach feel like. Science calls these microstresses hormesis. Centenarians do not live in perfect conditions. Brief deprivations, whether having to endure thirst for a couple of hours, freezing at a bus stop, or skipping lunch, train cellular resilience. Cells respond to mild stress by becoming stronger. But by protecting ourselves from the slightest discomfort, we have turned into delicate greenhouse plants that wither from a light draft. We buy immunity vitamins while sitting in sealed rooms with air purifiers. It is a paradox. We do everything to avoid being disturbed, and because of this, we become as fragile as crystal vases. Go out into the freezing cold without a hat for at least a minute. Your mitochondria are begging for some entertainment. Fact 32. Food socialization. A lonely lunch in front of a computer monitor. You quickly toss a salad into yourself without taking your eyes off your work spreadsheets or newsfeed. Your brain is in a fight-or-flight mode, blood rushes to your muscles, and your digestion is simply shut down. Food falls into you as if into a trash bin. Surprise eating together in the company of loved ones activates the vagus nerve, switching the body into a state of relaxation and deep absorption of nutrients. Table conversations, laughter, and visual contact command the stomach to release the necessary enzymes. But we consider a shared meal a waste of time, preferring to chew in proud solitude, absorbing anxious news. We eat healthy food under such immense stress that it turns into poison. Your stomach genuinely believes that you're chewing on the run, fleeing from a saber-toothed tiger. Throw your phone off the table. Your vagus nerve craves connection, not stock market reports. Fact 33. Nighttime reconstruction. The refrigerator is a beacon in the night for modern humanity. We are used to snacking around the clock, never giving our digestive system a second of rest. Microfasting is the refusal of food for at least 12 to 14 hours at night, shutting your mouth at 7 in the evening and keeping it shut until 9 in the morning. It is precisely in this window of absolute rest that sirtuins are activated, those legendary longevity genes that repair our bodies while we sleep, hunting down broken DNA. But we interrupt this process with a midnight slice of sausage. We do not let the repair crew start their shift, forcing the intestines to work 3 shifts without weekends. And then we go to a cosmetologist to remove the bags under our eyes. We are the worst bosses for our own bodies, violating all the labor codes of physiology. A glowing refrigerator is a moth trap, and you fly right into that light, burning your own cells. Leave the food alone. Let yourself repair. The bottom line of all this absurd comedy is that modern man voluntarily gives away massive resources just to slowly and beautifully destroy himself. We live in a matrix where comfort, sterility, and artificial stimulants are sold to us under the guise of self-care. We have been scammed out of billions, convinced that health is a complex, high-tech product available only to the chosen ones by subscription. But now you know that the real secrets of survival are dirt under your fingernails, cold water, an empty stomach at night, and the ability to curse loudly when you are fed up with everything. If you had the courage to read this text to the very end without falling into denial, it means your brain has not completely turned into diet puree just yet. Subscribe to continue receiving intellectual slaps in the face that will save your blood vessels. And let me know in the comments your version. What should be the 34th fact in this insane survival manual?